Let's go live to Fort Worth, Texas. My Sky News colleagues Rita Panahi and James Morrow with me. Thank you for being with us on the coverage, Rita and James. You've been on the road from Florida to Texas. What are the issues that you've picked up from the voters you've spoken to?
Well, the number one issue is cost of living, much like Australia. It's inflation, it's the perilous state of the economy. It's the fact that gas prices are about double of when they were under President Trump. So that comes through over and over again. Of course, the border crisis and crime are also top-line issues. What we're not hearing much about are things like climate change and abortion. So these seem to be more media issues than voter issues, and I think that's being reflected in the results we're seeing tonight.
James, how much are the voters blaming the inflationary pressures, the economic pressures on Biden and his administration?
They're blaming him an awful lot here. It's very loud here. There's a lot of hullabaloo here at the Fort Worth Tarrant County election headquarters here. But I can tell you, across the Florida, Louisiana, Texas, wherever we've spoken to, even Democrats say, look, Joe Biden has to take a lot of the blame for what's going on. The buck stops with the commander-in-chief. And one of the things that they keep saying is, even Democrats say they really do not want him to run again in 2024. A lot of Democrats we spoke to said we would much rather him step aside, bring some new blood into the party, bring back somebody else. We even heard Elizabeth Warren's name a couple of times from people that they wanted instead of Joe Biden. That's where people are on that.
You're currently in Fort Worth there, Rita. It's interesting that governor race, a couple of big names. I think a lot of our viewers would know them. Governor Abbott up against Beto O'Rourke. Early numbers, but how's it shaping up?
Well, early days, about a third of the votes being counted. Governor Abbott is comfortably in front with around 53% at this stage. So he's expected to prevail here tonight. And it's interesting, we're in Tarrant County, like you said, in Fort Worth. This is a rare area. This is... Governor Abbott's results are just coming up on the big screen here, and the crowd is jubilant.
Going wild. The crowd is going wild.
I think they're close to calling it. But this is a rare area even for Texas. This is an urban area that is Republican. The only one in Texas. The big urban metropolitan areas vote Democrat, but Tarrant County has held firm, and as you can hear, they're in good spirits tonight.
Indeed.
James Morrow, finally to you, what's your sense of the Trump effect? I've just been talking to Mick Mulvaney about it and looking at that case study of Georgia, which is interesting. You've got the governor doing better than the Senate candidate, the governor opposed by Trump, the Senate candidate backed by Trump.
Well, I think with the Georgia race, there's a lot of other issues going on there. I mean, Herschel Walker was in many ways a very weak candidate with an awful lot of controversy and baggage behind him, which I think would have put a lot of voters off. I mean, concerns about just a lot of things in his past, whether or not he was really fit to be a Republican candidate. That doesn't mean he's not going to win. But the other two races that I think people need to watch are the Senate race in Ohio with J.D. Vance, a strong Trump backer. Now, that's very neck and neck at the moment, and Kari Lake in Arizona. So at this point, I think watch all three of those. That's going to be the constellation of races, because the big thing now, of course, Ron DeSantis did so well, is doing so well in Florida. And the big question is going to be now, does Trump give DeSantis his own space, or are the Republicans heading for kind of an internal civil war between DeSantis fans and Donald Trump?
It's going to be interesting to watch that, James. Rita, appreciate it.